everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our Wednesday night program. Tonight's topic is Face Reality. And if you saw the thumbnail, we appreciate the mugs. They were a gift, and we appreciate them. Joe's here in the background. He'll be on. We just want to say hello to Matthew and ex-culters, John Marciano, and of course my good wife. We couldn't do this without her. Do you have your pin?
No, it's on my shirt.
It's on your shirt, okay. Susan Gullen and Lisa Pinson. Hi Lisa, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been online and got to a live. Thank you. And Dallas, hi Dallas. Just some new things that are going to be happening. But do you want to say some of them?
Yeah, we welcome Seth and Felicia and
Shauna?
and
Dakota. Okay. Yes, so rather than having 3 hours,
2 hours.
we're going down to 2 hours. So we'll be on from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We'll have a couple guests, pre-planned guests.
We got a couple of very short videos.
Yeah, very helpful. Give us something to think about and to live by and talk about.
Yeah, Jane Spitfire says, sounds good, 2 hours. Shaq Composer. Hi, Shaq. So, anyway, we want to introduce our new helpers? Or
Yeah,
we want to do this first?
Let's introduce a new helper.
Okay, we've got some new helpers that are going to be helping us with the birthdays and anniversaries and any other announcements. So we can bring them on. Hi, Seth.
Hello,
hi, Felicia.
Seth and Felicia.
And
Hi.
There's Dakota.
New faces around here, right?
Yeah.
He's reading his book.
Good. Right. That's nice. So we want to welcome, Seth and Felicia. They're our regulars, but they're going to be doing the announcements and birthdays and anniversaries like we mentioned. And maybe they'll have something special.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to start, whenever the prompts are up.
Yeah.
As soon as Shauna gets. These are taken from XJW Friends, our website. Okay, take it away.
All right. So you have to forgive us on pronouncing names because we're working on it ourselves. I can see already the first one. Felicia wants to read that one. So October 1st, we have Sarvia Garcia Macri. I hope I'm pronouncing that one right. Keith Casarona, October 3rd. You want to?
October 3rd, Yvette.
October 5th, Corrine Lynn.
October 6th, Sarah Hughes.
October 7th, Paul Garino.
October 8th, Kim Elaine and Casey, which is Debbie's granddaughter.
October 9th, there's Star Paul.
October 11th, Mary Hauk.
October 13th, we have Michelle Culligan Johnson.
October 14th, Faded in San Diego and Eva Arnold.
October 15th, we have Don Bahayton. Hope that's correct.
October 17th, Eric Kubler and Elaine from JW Escapes.
October 18th, we have Yvonne's grandson and born JW.
October 20th, Jackie Ramos.
October 21st, Gabby, which is Dinah Lost daughter.
October 22nd, Adrian Moley and Mona Gill.
October 23rd, we have Hetty and Rita Wall Mosley.
October 24th, Vern and Nicole M.
And we'd just like to add one in there for October 24th. It's a friend of ours. She is currently PMO and ask her name not to be on there, but does watch the program. October 25th, we have Cheryl Murphy and Henry Julian.
October 29th, Elaine, Derek Matthews, and Skygram.
And October 31st, this beautiful lady right here, Felicia Coulter. Happy birthday, Coda. Are you ready? Want to sing? Happy birthday, birthday. You ready? Sing it. Say happy.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
And we got a happy face for happy birthday.
You want to tell him, Dakota? Say happy birthday.
Happy. No.
Oh no, he got nervous.
You did great,
Good
Dakota.
job, Dakota.
Thank
Good
you,
job,
Dakota.
Coco.
Thank you.
Great job, Dakota.
So for
Yeah.
the anniversaries this month, we're gonna start out the very top. October 2nd, Joe and Fran, beautiful people celebrating 49 years.
October 9th, Alban and Irene, 32 years.
October 10th, West and Dinah Lost, and Brian and Stephanie Lynn Carson Chase, 15 years.
October 25th, Mark and Laura, 22 years.
October 27th, Terry and Shannon Hamilton. Happy anniversary, y'all. So the upcoming events, we have one, it looks like right there, coming up here in October, is Philadelphia Halloween Nights. The XJW meet up there, I'm assuming in Philadelphia. And then it says grab your tickets by the 8th of October. You can get that from the link. They'll start a meetup at Pulse and Go. So yeah, the tickets is for the entry, and you click there and get it. It's organized by the Liberati.
Did you want to talk about the second page, Shauna, if you can put that up, with our therapist and our life coaches?
So we have the therapists and life coaches, which I love. The beginning of that it says you are not alone. There's so many. It says you're not alone. We're here for each other. We have friends, coaches, and you have all these life coaches, these courage and coaching, the therapist, you got an ordained minister, social worker, so many of these faces. I'd like to get to know myself, get to know them, but they're so helpful. What do you think about therapy? It's
very important.
It's important when leaving something like we all did. And this can all be found on the xjwfriends.com website. It's quickly become one of our favorite little websites to advertise.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Great.
Good job. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Dakota. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you guys for letting us have a part. Really fun.
We're glad you're part of it. You know, what you were announcing and what we think of are these kind of days. They're happy. They're happy days. There they are.
Happy face.
And that's obviously the way we like to have our lives turn out all the time, but they don't always turn out that way all the time. Sometimes they turn out this way. And
yeah, what do we do when we have those days?
Yeah.
We all have those days, right?
Yeah. And we can't always control them. We just can't. There's things we can control sometimes. We can. And it's nice to know what we can do sometimes. Because sometimes, we find ourselves saying, I don't know what I can do. I don't know what I can do. And it's a good question. And the question is, what can I do about this? And this is where, Seth, you mentioned it. It's good to know that we're not alone because we all have help for each other. Everybody has help for each other one way or the other, be it the coaches, be it your friends, be it any of the therapists, or even some of the helpful videos that we watch. They're going to provide some help for us to come up with strategy to deal with, the kind of day that makes us frown or hurt or be sad. We need to do something about it, and we can. We can, even if it means just to share it with the other person, another person, and to get through it because the sun rises the next day. It's the things we say and the words that live in our head and that we repeat over and over to ourselves. It's those words that make a difference to us. And sometimes just changing those words, which sometimes we're not even aware of, we need to hear it from someone else because we may not come up with it when we need it.
Well, just as an example, and I'm not going to give any names, but yesterday we had someone texted us, someone very close to us, and said, I am a failure. And right away I got on the phone and I called this person. I said, you are not a failure. You are not a failure. You are not a failure. And I just went through all the things that person had done. And I said, I know you feel like a failure, but you are not. And we were on the phone with this person for 2 hours. This person just needed to talk about it, talking about, therapists, you just need to let it out sometimes. And by the time we were finished with the phone call, that person was, okay, I'm ready to, go at it.
and the point is not to change reality. The point is to face the reality. In other words, this idea about failure, it brings me back to my childhood days of school tests where we were marked and graded with scores from 0 to 100 being the best, or from A to B, C, D, F for failure. And it's like, I never needed to know that. Anyone who went through that, they never needed to know that this was a failure. And it's like, okay, they didn't do as well as the other end. They did past a certain point. Well, now they have to face the fact or the attitude or the idea that they're a failure, or at least it was a failure. The test was a failure. That could be very brutal. That could be very brutal for a young person growing up, trying to be something. I haven't been in school lately, but I hope that they don't approach testing the same way for young minds. I really hope they don't, because otherwise that sets the pattern for the rest of their life, thinking that if they don't achieve up to a certain point, they're a failure. And that's a huge misconception. They're not a failure. No, they're not a failure. It's just a misapplied term. It really is. It really is. And until we change those ideas in our minds, we're going to be carrying something that's a load that's way too heavy for us to bear. It's a load we just don't need to bear. We don't need to know that we're quote unquote a failure. We need to know how we're doing. We need to know what I achieved, what I didn't achieve, what our strong points were, what I missed, what I need to keep better attention to, what I did well. Those are helpful. Those things are helpful. And so, where are we going to go with that? So she was not a failure.
No, not at all.
No.
She felt like one, maybe because of disappointment.
Yeah.
Expectations that
You have to
were.
be very careful with
Yeah,
expectations.
because our expectations can let us down sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
And especially in school. See,
mhm.
and this sets this sets the tune for so many, for most people, is that if they don't get to a certain point, that means something. In other words, this numerical uh, point is going to make or break their point of view for themselves. That is something that the government basically sets up for people. They set people up. It's a gradient scale for classifying people, just like they would classify widgets in a factory. It's no different. It's no different. And we're not widgets in a factory. We're just not. They may view us that way. The government may view us that way,
Mm-hmm.
but we are not. We don't think of ourselves that way. And that's so important to keep that in mind and help each other, because we're going to forget. We're going to forget.
I like what Sky Graham said. We are all good at something. I always try to keep this in mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and help the other person know what they're good at. Yeah. They're going to need to hear it from you.
Yeah, Jane Spitfire said that's why I think it's vital to say hi to friends on here. We want to say hi. We mentioned some in the beginning, but I think Wildfall came on and Faded in San Diego. Lethal Trip, mother-in-law's monthly visit to our daughter hasn't happened, and her mom suspended her social media accounts.
Huh.
Lethal Trip, I think you're new here.
Have never seen before. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. And how about Mappolini, 66? I think
Sounds new to me.
Yep. We welcome you. And Marissa, thank you for coming on. Amy Huber.
Yeah.
Thank you. Debbie Moore. Hi to everyone. Won't list names because trying to find a spot I can pick up a signal. Okay. And Rob Burns, thank you for coming on, Rob. And of course, Lisa Pinson from not Australia, but the other one.
New Zealand?
New Zealand, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
Lisa. And so we've got a nice group here. Did you want to go into the short video?
Yes, we got some great videos. Short one, only a few minutes.
Yeah, this
4
one
minutes.
is like 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
And later on, we're going to have a guest come on, and we're going to share some things with her.
Yeah, and she's going to share some things with us.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, let's both.
And Seth and Felicia, you chime in anytime too.
Yep.
Okay, so here's our first short video.
So just for clarification, the 4-minute video was the atheists. The love one was 9 minutes. So do you want the love one first?
The 9-minute one first.
All right then. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification.
Backwards. You've been told love is a feeling you fall into, find, or lose. You've been taught to chase the butterflies, follow your heart, and wait for the magic to strike. But here's the truth that will completely transform how you approach every relationship for the rest of your life. Love isn't something that happens to you. Love is something you do. I'm about to show you what love actually is according to neuroscience, psychology, and the simple reality that nobody wants to tell you because it's not romantic enough for movies. By the end of this video, you'll never see love the same way again. Let's start with what your brain is doing when you think you're in love. Your ventral tegmental area, the reward center in your brain, floods with dopamine, the same chemical that fires when you use cocaine or win money. Research shows that looking at photos of someone you're romantically attracted to activates the same reward circuits as addictive substances. That euphoria you call love, it's a dopamine addiction. When you fall in love, dopamine levels surge, creating euphoria similar to effects of addictive substances like cocaine. Your brain is literally getting high on this person's existence. That's not love, that's chemistry. Then oxytocin joins the party. Released during sex and heightened by skin-to-skin contact, oxytocin deepens feelings of attachment and makes couples feel closer. This is the bonding hormone that makes you want to stay close to someone. It's the same chemical that bonds mothers to babies. Add in some vasopressin for long-term commitment behaviors. Throw in elevated cortisol, creating that anxious, obsessive focus on the person, and you've got what society calls falling in love. Subjects in love show higher levels of cortisol, representing stress response to change, characterizing early relationship phases. But here's the mind-blowing part. This chemical cocktail lasts about 12 to 24 months maximum. Then it fades. The dopamine decreases. The obsessive focus dissipates. The butterflies fly away. And most people think this means they've fallen out of love. They haven't. They've just sobered up from the chemical high. And now the real question begins. What is love when the drugs wear off? This is where everything you've been taught fails you. Because we've defined love as a feeling when it's actually a practice. We've made love a noun when it's really a verb. Real love is what happens after the chemistry fades. It's the conscious daily choice to act in someone's best interest, even when you don't feel like it. It's showing up when you're tired. It's staying patient when you're frustrated. It's choosing their well-being when it conflicts with your convenience. Love is what you do when the dopamine isn't doing it for you anymore. Let me show you what I mean. When your partner is sick and needs care, there's no dopamine reward for cleaning up vomit or making soup at 3 a.m. That's love. When you bite your tongue during an argument to prevent saying something hurtful, there's no chemical high from that restraint. That's love. When you celebrate their success, even though you're struggling, when you listen to them talk about something you don't care about because they care about it, when you adjust your plans because they need you, none of this activates reward circuits. This is love without the drugs. Neuroscience reveals that oxytocin and vasopressin pathways, coupled with dopaminergic reward systems, contribute to formation and maintenance of maternal and passionate love. But here's what they don't tell you. Long-term, happily married individuals show neural activation in same dopamine-rich reward regions as early-stage love, but also in regions associated with attachment. This means real long-lasting love isn't the absence of chemistry. It's the integration of attachment behaviors with conscious choice. It's training your brain to find reward in the practice of loving rather than just the feeling of being in love. Think about this. You can feel intense chemistry with someone who's terrible for you. Your brain doesn't know the difference between healthy and toxic. It just knows dopamine is dopamine. That's why people get addicted to relationships that destroy them. They're chasing the chemical high while ignoring behavioral reality. Real love requires your prefrontal cortex, not just your limbic system. It requires the part of your brain that makes conscious decisions, sets long-term goals, and overrides impulses. Love is your higher brain choosing behaviors that serve the relationship even when your primitive brain wants immediate gratification. Here's the perspective shift that changes everything. Stop asking, am I in love? Start asking, am I practicing love? Because being in love is passive. It's something that happens to you through brain chemistry you don't control. Practicing love is active. It's something you choose through behaviors you absolutely control. You don't fall into love, you build it, brick by brick, choice by choice, action by action, day after day. The feeling follows the practice, not the other way around. This is why arranged marriages in cultures that practice them often report higher satisfaction over time than romantic marriages in Western culture. Not because arranged marriages are superior, but because they start with the understanding that love is something you build through commitment and actions, not something you find through feelings and chemistry. They don't wait to feel love before practicing it. They practice it until the feeling develops. And neuroscience backs this up. Sexual activity can increase oxytocin levels and activate the brain's reward circuit, making couples desire each other more, potentially bringing them back to earlier exhilarating days. You can literally create the feeling by doing the actions. The chemistry follows the behavior. Here's what this means practically. That relationship where you fell out of love, you didn't fall out. You stopped practicing. You stopped doing the small daily actions that create bonding. You waited to feel like being loving instead of being loving until you felt it. That person you have no chemistry with but who treats you incredibly well, chemistry can be built through consistent loving actions over time. Bonding implicates bottom-up processes where bonding-related brain and neuroendocrine systems are activated by attachment-related behavior. You don't need to start with fireworks. You need to start with commitment to the practice. And that person you have amazing chemistry with but who treats you terribly, that chemistry is just your brain getting high. It's not love. It's addiction with a person instead of a substance. This reframing changes everything about how you choose partners. You stop chasing the feeling and start evaluating the person. Can they practice love even when they don't feel like it? Do they show up consistently? Do they choose your well-being? Do they do the work when the chemistry isn't carrying them? Because here's the brutal truth. Everyone can love you when dopamine is flowing. The test of real love is whether they love you when it's not. This is why love at first sight is neurologically impossible. What you're experiencing is attraction at first sight, lust at first sight, chemical reaction at first sight. But love requires time, behavior patterns, and conscious choice repeated over time. You cannot love someone you just met because love is a practice that takes time to develop. You can be attracted to them. You can feel chemistry, but you cannot love them yet because you haven't had the opportunity to practice loving them through challenges, disappointments, and the mundane reality of daily life. Real love is boring in the best possible way. It's making coffee how they like it. It's remembering what they told you last week. It's doing the dishes without being asked. It's asking about their day and actually listening. It's choosing them when they're not at their best. None of this is exciting. None of this makes good movies, but all of it makes good lives. Here's your new framework for love. The feeling is the byproduct, not the prerequisite. The chemistry is the reward for the practice, not the foundation for the relationship. The butterflies are the dessert, not the meal. Love is a skill you develop through repetition. Like playing piano or learning a language, you get better at loving through practice. Some people are naturally better at it because they learned it in childhood from parents who practiced it well. Others have to learn it consciously as adults because they never saw it modeled. But everyone can learn it because love isn't a feeling you're born with or without. It's a behavior pattern you develop through conscious, consistent choice. This means you're not helplessly subject to falling in and out of love. You have agency. You can choose to practice love with someone who practices it back. You can build something real instead of chasing something chemical. And when the initial dopamine rush fades, instead of thinking you've fallen out of love, you can recognize you're graduating into real love, the kind that actually lasts, the kind that's built on behavior, not brain chemistry. So stop waiting to feel love before acting loving. Start acting loving and watch the feeling follow. Stop looking for someone who makes you feel love. Start looking for someone who practices love consistently. Stop thinking love is something that happens to you. Start understanding love is something you do. This perspective shift will save you from wasting years chasing chemistry with incompatible people. It will help you build something real with someone compatible. It will make you someone worth loving because you'll understand what love actually requires. Subscribe for more content that replaces romantic myths with actual truth. Tell me in the comments whether this changed how you see love, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Love isn't a feeling you fall into. It's a choice you make repeatedly. It's not what you feel, it's what you do. And that changes absolutely everything.
Fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you, Shauna.
Yeah.
So even though that was talking about marriage, partners,
Marriage, yeah.
like Seth said, it can relate to
Friends
friendships
as well.
And we may want to take it there because
You have to accept that in the Watchtower, Jehovah's Witnesses, Fran, might have developed that kind of a love relationship with the people. It's reasonable. It really is. Many of us are the sort that we offer that kind of loving relationship, and others accept it, and they exchange that kind of relationship with each other. I'm sure that's been the case. Here's where it hurts a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What hurts a lot is when that relationship is challenged by a religious requirement. Or if it's not religious, let's say a corporate requirement, either way, whichever way you want to look at it, of shunning. You've had a heartfelt change of mind, of heart, whatever. Now, the person that you had that close relationship with, if they're being loyal, religiously faithful, guess what they're supposed to do? They're supposed to shun you. Yeah, they're supposed to shun you. You were loving them. Maybe they were, quote unquote, loving you as well. Really, you weren't married, but it was still a love relationship. You can do that with people that you're not married to. Then what happens then? You find yourself cut off from them. Now what? What are you going to do now? You lost your love. You lost your relationship with that person. What to do? Many people in that situation, well, there's so much depression and a letdown. So the the most important thing in their mind at that point is to somehow regain that relationship. Somehow, you go out of your way to try to do that. It doesn't happen though. It doesn't work. And that's where people have the hardest time to accept the fact that that relationship is probably over for good, or at least for the foreseeable future. If that changes, wonderful. If it doesn't, it's the most likely thing. That's not going to change. So do we keep pursuing that? Do you keep pursuing a relationship that isn't mutual? What would that mean? Um, would it be any different than seeking a love relationship with a potential mate? You know, a woman with a man, man with a woman. Offer, you know, I offer your loving feelings and your loving concern, and they can't return it. It's like, I truly appreciate you, but I just can't return the same kind of love that you offer. Well, what do? I won't take no for an answer. I can't take no for an answer. I can't. But they're giving the answer no. You have to, that's something you need to face. You have to face that.
I think Seth had a comment. If you want to build on it, or he says, "I still love," in quotes, "many on the inside, or do I?" Mm-hmm. That is something to examine.
Yeah. See, you have to ask yourself: is it a love relationship? And are there two in that relationship, or is there just one at that point? See, there were two. There were two. You're still there, but they're not. They're not there. Now what? I will never stop seeking to restore that relationship. Never. I will never stop. Well, you may never have it again, though. What will that do to you? Think of the frustration, the heartache from that. And then at the same time, think that there are others out there who would love you, who need your love. And this is where it's a challenge now. You know, you're in a position now where you've quote unquote lost your love relationship, your close relationship with those people. Now there's others who need that kind of love from you. Mm-hmm. They need that kind of love from you. But yet you may not be thinking of that. You may be only thinking back to your home love. Let's call that your home love, your home friend. And this is where, you have to, again, keep in mind that it's not there anymore, but there is one waiting. There's a new one waiting. And see, and that's literally life in this world. It really is. There's many people out there to love and to be loved. And they need your love as much as you need theirs. How do you feel about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I think about our children, for example. I miss our children. I miss having them in our lives. But I can't sit around, crying all the time and wishing they were here. I have to do something that I can benefit others and help others. And so that's what we decided to do when we left. We said, we don't have our children in our lives, but there are so many out there that need that connection. Yeah. And we are so glad we did that.
Yeah, I mean, and our love remains for our children.
Yeah, we haven't stopped loving them.
It remains. but it's just not something that's mutually practiced.
It's not
It's just
returned.
not
Yeah.
at this
So if
point.
something's not returned
Will it
to
ever
you,
be?
yeah,
I
we don't know.
don't know.
We don't know. But in the
I don't know.
meantime,
I think there's there's even I think Watchtower quotes the scripture all the time. Well, aim your blows, I forgot what scripture it was, but aim your blows as to not be striking the wind. And that can go with the love situation as well. You never forget some of the people. And
Oh yeah.
it's hard. It's so
Oh
hard to
yeah.
let go. But
See,
you
and
have
it,
to aim. There's ones out there who need
that's right.
that love. They
That's right.
they they can reciprocate it at
That's
that time too, and that's
that's
the human connection.
that's right.
that's
That's
right, Dakota.
And that's where we have to basically open up our view, our heart, to more than what we were open to before. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge if you're not used to doing that. Some people were brought up in their family, practicing that. They were more open-hearted, open relationship with other people, whereas others tended to be singular and stuck on close with single, simple, close relationships without being branching. This is where you need to start to learn to be like the branches of a tree, to branch out. There's people there. They love you, and they need your love. And like the video said, it's not just what you feel; it's what you do. Um, it's what you choose. It's like an offer. I will offer to be this to you, and then to see, will you be this to me? And
It's a continuing practice. It's something yet. I love the word they kept bringing out, choice and practice in
yeah,
the video.
yeah,
It's that.
yeah. Well, and you can only control yours. You're not going to control theirs. And that's the magic of it all. That's the courage of it all. Because see, there's in a marriage, there's a need for commitment and for security. So that's why we've got the ring that shows basically bondage. We've symbolically chosen in front of God and everyone to bind ourselves to each other. It's good for us, it's good for the society to show that we choose to do that. And that's what marriage is about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's reasonable if you are so inclined, if you choose to be ready to enter into that.
Yeah. John Marciano made a good point. He said the organization, the word love, has been replaced with obey.
Yeah. Well, forget
Obey.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true.
No,
John.
it's so true, though. It's so true.
See, this is something that you choose, and you open your eyes to see who else chooses it. It's an agreement. It's an arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
It's an offer you make. It's an offer that's reciprocated. And when that happens, it's a beautiful thing. When it doesn't happen, keep looking.
Can I throw an interesting thought in there?
Yeah.
Please.
So when Felicia and I got married, of course we were JWs at the time, and we had a JW ceremony outside. I swore on everything. This is how deep the brainwashing got. That in the vows, her vows specifically said she had to love and obey me.
Yeah.
And we went back to watch the video. I said, I know he said it. I know he said it.
Yeah.
It's in there. He didn't actually say it. But that's the brainwashing, is
Mm-hmm.
they make you think your wife is to obey you. And so I found that very interesting when watching this video and thinking about the word love and obey and how it's been replaced.
Yeah.
It's just love and obey are equal in some minds,
And
they're not.
No,
And they're
they sure aren't.
If I could just
Yeah,
interrupt,
thank you,
just something technical for the program. Some folks are wondering if they could come on. If you notice, we don't have a StreamYard link at the top, and the reason being is that we're only going to be on for 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
We've had some designated guests come on. They're going to be coming on. And if you would like to come on perhaps at the very
Yeah,
end
there may
if
be
we
some
have
time,
time,
yeah.
like the last half
Yeah,
hour.
but
But right now we're just going to keep it. And do we want to go into the next video?
yeah, let's do that. Hold the thoughts and feelings on that video. And I'm sure these things you can discuss among each other as well as we can.
Yeah, this
all
one's only
throughout.
4 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's totally something different.
What does atheism tell you about the ultimate end? It's a question that sounds bleak at first, almost like opening a door to a dark, cold room. But when you step in and let your eyes adjust, you realize it's not darkness, it's clarity. Atheism doesn't give you a comforting story about eternity. It gives you something arguably more profound: responsibility for the only existence you know for sure you have. From the atheist point of view, the ultimate end isn't a mystical horizon where we wake up in another realm. It's the cessation of consciousness. The end of the movie, not a sequel. For some, that sounds terrifying. For others, it's liberating. Because once you strip away the promise of divine reward or punishment, what's left is the raw, unfiltered significance of this single, fleeting life. Throughout history, humans have built religions to manage the anxiety of death. Ancient Egyptians buried their dead with food and gold to sustain them in the afterlife. Medieval Christians feared damnation so much that they bought indulgences from priests to shorten their suffering in purgatory. But atheism breaks that pattern. It doesn't replace one story with another. It simply stops telling stories where there's no evidence. It stares straight at mortality and says, "This is it." And instead of despairing, it asks, "Then how do we live knowing this?" That question transforms everything. If this life is the only one, then every act of kindness, every piece of art, every shared moment of laughter matters infinitely more. Because it's not practice, it's the real thing. Atheism, far from being nihilistic, can heighten the value of existence. The sunset isn't just a glimpse of divine creation. It's the rare coincidence of physics, light, and perception that will never happen again in exactly the same way. Knowing it won't last doesn't diminish it. It makes it sacred in a very different sense of the word. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus understood this tension. Camus famously said, "The meaning of life is whatever stops you from killing yourself." He didn't mean it cynically. He meant that meaning isn't handed down, it's built. When you accept the absence of cosmic purpose, you get to define your own. That's the atheist view of the ultimate end, not an apocalypse or judgment, but the recognition that meaning starts and ends with consciousness itself. When you think about it, atheism redefines eternity, not as an endless timeline, but as intensity, because if time is finite, depth becomes the only kind of infinity we can experience. To love someone deeply, to create, to explore, to learn, these become our small eternities, moments that exist fully, even if they don't last forever. Religion often promises comfort in exchange for obedience. Atheism offers discomfort, but also freedom. Without divine authority, morality becomes a human project. You do good not because a God commands it, but because empathy tells you life is better when we minimize suffering. That's a harder morality because it doesn't come with celestial surveillance or afterlife rewards. It's grounded entirely in what kind of world we choose to build now. Science reinforces this worldview. The universe doesn't appear designed for human significance. It's vast, cold, indifferent, and yet we're here, tiny specks of carbon that develop the ability to wonder about it all. From an atheist lens, that's extraordinary. The fact that matter became conscious, even temporarily, is more miraculous than any scripture. The ultimate end, then, isn't something to fear. It's part of the same natural process that allowed us to exist in the first place. Take the stars. Every atom in your body was forged inside a dying star billions of years ago. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, all recycled from stellar explosions. When you die, those atoms will scatter again, forming new stars, new worlds, maybe even new life. You won't exist as Y.
Okay.
Yeah. Does any of that help you think a little bit? Maybe think in ways that you haven't thought before. It's designed just to help you think. I will say that there's a saying that we heard, we didn't hear. The person was dead. The person was gone a long time. It was Joseph Rutherford when he said religion is a snare and a racket. And no doubt they proved it. I mean, he as well as the rest of religions, set out and proved it by literally snaring away the life that we could live right now to a fullness right now. They basically snared that away from us so that we could do what they wanted us to do now. They got us to trade off our now for an idea of the future that no one can prove. Well, okay. I mean, that, that's an offer. And if a person chooses to trade their now for later that they can't prove, that's truly is up to each individual. It really is. But but at least we understand that there's something very precious with our lives that we can have right now, and it's the life that we choose to live, and not that's prescribed for us by someone else. And unfortunately, we've seen that was in the religions that we were in, both Catholic. We were brought up Catholic, as well as the witnesses. Saw that basically it exploited. It exploited lives. It didn't enrich lives. It exploited lives. And for those times that we were in, we didn't do what we chose to do. We really didn't. We didn't. We accepted something in return for a future prize, which is a story, but never to share in our presence right now. Something to think about. And
Rich Q's journey. I'm just getting more comfortable not knowing what happens after we die.
Yeah.
I am sure it will be something good. And I liked also what Sten said. I was non existent forever before I was conceived, and after I die, I will be non existent and unknowing once again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. I'm comfortable with that because I don't know what I was like before I was born.
I didn't need to know.
And, where was I? I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. See,
and what's going to happen after I die, I don't know.
Right. See, I didn't need to know something in order to become something. I didn't. And so this idea of certainty, which is one of the hooks, it's one of the hooks that snares the desire for certainty. Do you want to know really what happens? Would you like to know for certain, for sure? Yeah. Would you like to know? Well, here, just believe this, do this, and this is guaranteed. This is certainty. So you don't have to worry about it or think about it anymore. Whereas the rest of the human race, basically, lives in uncertainty. We do. Uh, um, and that's not an inferior way of living. It's not. It's open for us to experience the wide open world that we would have, that we would choose to be who we are. The unique you that you are, the unique you.
Matthew said, Asmanoff, am I pronouncing that right? Asmanoff's short story, The Last Question, brought much comfort and food for thought since childhood to now. Asmanoff regarded it as his best story.
Well, we can look that up sometime.
Yep. I know Seth and Felicia, you haven't been out of the organization too long, and I know Felicia was born in. Seth, you came in, you were fairly young. You have any thoughts on this?
We were sitting here discussing some of that and some of the feelings from within, not knowing what happens can sometimes be a scary thought. And we have reset our belief patterns many times. Now we obviously we choose a Christian faith, and I don't think that's, I think most people here know that. But embracing what you don't know can almost be it's scary. It's scary. It's simply scary sometimes, but it doesn't have to be, because that power lies within you. That's what it boils down to: the power to know how you feel, and what you think will happen, or what your existent means. That belongs to you, and so that's
Yeah.
kind of what we were discussing. That
Yeah,
belongs to you,
that's right. And if it belongs to us, we have to protect it.
right?
And sometimes when we enter into some other arrangement, there's almost an agreement that we have to give it up.
Yes.
Now, we no longer go according to ourselves. And this is where, and this is where anyone has to be careful with any kind of contractual arrangement, any kind, because you're going to give something up for what you think you're going to receive in return.
Correct.
And this is true with anything. Oh boy, this is true with
Absolutely.
anything. And this is the value of our lives. The value of our life is the ability to do that. It could be scary. I agree, which is understandable why some people want to nail it down. They want to just secure it. I want to simplify it. I don't want to have to worry about it. I'll just do this, and I won't have to think. I won't have. Well, when that happens, you're going to let someone else to do all the thinking for you. That's the only uh, thing to watch out for. You're
Something
going,
else that video brought to my mind is how fragile the time is as well. The
yeah, yeah,
fragility of the time with, say, I was thinking about Dakota this morning, about
yeah.
Felicia and I. We were just holding him not that long ago, and all of a sudden he's running around here like a little monster into everything, talking in complete sentences. It just kind of blows you away at times. So, and it makes you think about that. It makes you think about how sacred, how whatever title or definition you want to put on that word sacred,
It's
it really
fine.
makes you think about how sacred time is.
It's finite,
Exactly.
like you're saying. It's finite, and it's very important, sacred, and it's in your control at this point.
Right,
It won't always be for the life that he's developing, because he's
right.
going to develop into his own personal will. So
And we
it's
hear a lot of people a lot of the time say, if we connect it back to the cult mentality, and being in from what we came from, a lot of us say, well, I regret that time that I spent in it. But we all learned something. We all
That's right.
learned something from it.
yeah,
We learned ourselves. We were able to start pulling ourselves out and
that's
start
it.
examining us, instead of being a slave to
That's
something
right.
that we don't understand fully.
That's right.
We're able to look at us and examine our beliefs, our lifestyle, our culture,
That's
and
right.
we're able to focus in on that.
That's right.
So it wasn't a waste of time.
No.
No. Amen.
Marissa Gowan said, embracing uncertainty with improbable yet possible outcomes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then she said, there is a power in uncertainty, and we can exploit that to our advantage. Harvard psychologist Dr. Langer helps explain this. Check her out. Dr. Langer, Langer.
See, the beauty here is what being referred to is the fact that we're learners. Human beings have the ability to learn and to direct their steps. We've got legs. We've got legs. We've got eyes. We can direct our eyes where we want to. We can point our legs in the direction we want to go. We can go as fast as we want to go. We can go as slow as we want to go. We can stop when we want to stop. We have to be careful of anything that impedes that, because then basically we're giving ourselves up to something else. It's a personal power that we're in control of, and that is our life.
And if you give it up, it becomes a wasted cycle. It's just a wasted cycle.
You lost that time. You lost that time.
Lisa Pinson has an acronym for fear. It could either mean two things: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise.
That's right.
And that's why we said face reality. That's our theme, is face reality.
And if we don't know what it is sometimes, that's why we open up to others. You know, we have this beauty of insight in with people that are around us that love us. We have something for them. They have something for us. There's something very powerful in that. There really is. So stay in touch with each other. Give each other your mind and hearts. And that's inspirational for each other.
So I think we're ready for our first guest. We're having Mary Flowers come on. She's been in the chat. We're going to say.
Yeah, and we can just set the table a little bit. Basically the theme or the thought is, what is a person to do when they've spent their whole life with a purpose? For example, pioneering, full-time pioneering, and fully involved in it, but then realizing, I think there's something not in line with my true beliefs. I think what I'm doing is not what I really need to be doing. There's something not fulfilling or not sustainable about that. And this is something we can discuss and listen to.
Yeah, Mary Flowers, welcome.
Yeah.
Mary, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was a second generation witness. I raised my children all as witnesses, and I was a pioneer for 23 years. And all my children were pioneers for at least some period of time. And I was so proud of that, very proud of that. So I have kind of woken up to the religion for about 5 years now, and it's been quite a journey of understanding. It was very, for me, it was quite a traumatic thing. Two of my children are woken up also, and one is still very active as an elder and a coordinator of his congregation, but I'm very proud of his open-mindedness, and we'll just see what happens with him. But I'm proud to say we have a good relationship with him. So I would say, listening carefully to the theme, that the first reality that I had to face was, I remember, because I loved Jehovah. I loved what I was learning from the earliest time I can remember. And one of my strong memories is sitting in front of my mirror and fixing my hair before school when I was 11 years old and saying, "You are never going to grow old." I mean, I don't know how many 11-year-olds think about that, but I did. I'm like, "You are never going to grow old," and fixing my little hair.
Wow.
And so the first thing, as far as facing the reality, now I sit there and I fix my hair and I look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, because I'm 64. So I was 11 when I thought that, and I'm 64, and I try to be a young 64, but still, I was not supposed to be 64.
Right. Well, if I can say, because we've met you in person, Mary, you are a beautiful 64. But I know what you mean, because, yeah, you were, your whole life, you weren't supposed to grow old.
Right. Yeah. So I think that was the first. I mean, I just think that is a very sad reality. And it's not just the physical reality of that. It's like, you're not really prepared, because the organization doesn't prepare you, because it's not going to happen.
No.
So I think it's a very hard thing. And that's why I'm happy that at least two of our children are kind of aware of that. They're already in their 40s. And I'm like, you need to prepare for what's to come, you know.
Yeah, and I appreciate you mentioning this. It's brave of you to have gone through it and to mention it, Mary. And see, you're explaining the difference between being open-minded and closed-minded. See, the society indoctrinates very closed minds, very closed minds, and to the extent where they forbid, basically, it's forbidden to have an open mind. Uh, but see, in the world, the normal world where we all humans live, we can't do that. We have to practice an open mind because things change, our ideas change, our points of view have to be corrected because no, what I thought, boy, it's just not true. It's like, yeah, I'm going to have to accept some reality here. Otherwise, I'm not going to go anywhere. Uh, Open-minded, and I'm sure you've made great bounds in being open-minded. It sounds like you have.
Well, do you remember the three H's?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yes.
Hungry, honest, and what?
Humble,
That's
Humble.
it.
right? So I think, I mean, those things I think do help you. You have to have those qualities and
Yep.
just say, you know, you have to laugh a little. You have to say, well, you know, you have to be humble,
Yep.
admit that you were misled,
Mm-hmm.
and be honest about the situation, and then want to learn other things, you know, just like the I think a lot of things that you present on the program really try to help people expand their mind and to learn other ways of looking at things and what to do with the rest of the time that, you know, whatever time they, wherever they are, not to give into the sunk cost fallacy
Right.
of, you know, say,
Right.
oh, well, it's already this long. I just, you know, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
But there's so much, like, for example, you know, now there's a lot of things that if I had known these things, uh, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, even 20 years ago, it would have been very different than what I want to do with my life now.
Right.
But still, my mother is still alive and she is 92. So I'm like, you know, I could have a lot of time here.
Hmm.
You
That's right.
know,
That's right.
what do I want to do with it?
That's
There's
it.
stuff to do. It's nothing like just give up because it didn't work out.
That's right. That's right. Every second poses a new universe of potential of the future. Every new second. Every new second. And if our mind is open, we're open to it, and that is our future. That's our value as humans. Humans, and obviously you're doing that.
Seth and Felicia, do you have any questions for Mary or thoughts?
Even, I mean, you said you've been out for about 5 years now. Even after that time, it's a remake every day. You're rethinking because I've been out for around 2 years now, and I'm still thinking, man, I may never get old. I may, I may. It's still a thought. It's still a thought.
That's right, Dakota.
Did you catch that?
Oh, dear.
That's beautiful.
And that the three H's brought up, that always reminded me of. I put that in the comments. The Willie Nelson song. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I just can't
Oh,
wait to look in the mirror. I get better looking each day.
oh, that's
You know
funny.
me is to love me.
Yeah, I just thought, yeah, about that because, you know, it was so easy to say that people don't listen to us in the ministry. If they don't, then it's because they lack one of those three things. But witnesses, they don't really have those things. If they have those qualities, they can wake up.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
That's
And
absolutely
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
yeah. So I would say from being in the ministry, you know, some of the things, realities I had to face about the ministry, because I just took it so seriously that it said it was a career. It should be your career. Well, it is not a career. It's not a career. It's just terrible to call it a career, because you give up and you don't get paid. You don't get, it's not a career.
You pay.
There's no urgency to it, as I had a very heightened sense of urgency about it. That not being a Jehovah's Witness or responding to the message does not mean that you have rejected God. And going out, being out there and having people tell me things that I just wasn't really allowed. I already knew the answer. Just like anything that was said was just not right, such as I was told many times that Russell was an adulterer, and I'm like, well, I just not, that's a lie, right? I'm sure that's a lie without looking it up. Or say, you have your own Bible. Oh no, here, we can read this in any translation, without really examining what had been done, the manipulation of the Bible. I just want to mention a couple more things. One was that I did think when I was studying with people, because I was pretty successful as a pioneer, actually. And when I would be with people, I would I was thinking, well, this must be really difficult for people who have these wonderful memories associated with the holidays to give it up. It must be really hard. Um, and I didn't, or that the things that they were taught by their parents weren't true. And you're supposed to just say, oh, we told you the truth. You're supposed to be excited about it. And then I found out that learning the truth is traumatizing. Learning that what you were taught and believed all your life is not easy. No matter what it is not easy. What we think people out there are supposed to just be excited that we told them the truth, right? But if we learn that someone tried to tell us something else, we're like, oh, I can't hear that. I can't hear that. And I think one of the most damaging things that was said at the Kingdom Hall repeatedly from the program, even though it's not in the Bible, but it's one thing that we were told, and that did set me up for quite some trauma, was everyone is here because Jehovah has drawn him. And that was really not true. There's a lot of reasons that people are in any particular place.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are my main realities I think that I had to face.
Well, and you have, obviously, and you are married. And now, a question. So how do you use that kind of life of love of people? Because obviously you love people. What do you do now to love people?
I put a lot into I'm trying to do things, especially for my grandchildren, that I didn't do for my children.
Yeah.
And trying to refocus on help. Yeah, I'm trying to focus on them, because at my age, I don't really want a career. I don't want another career myself. I have a lot of interests that I am trying to pursue, and I want to get involved in different little community things, but not. I don't want to. I don't want to get involved in a big organization. I just want to do little things
Mm-hmm.
in the community that don't involve, kind of putting all your eggs in one basket,
Right. Right.
so to speak. I've really enjoyed getting to know, I mean, so much stuff I thought about people was so untrue.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I'm,
Well, can you give some examples? Can you give some examples?
um,
Things that you
about
thought
what I thought about people.
that aren't true. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, well, of course, that only Jehovah's Witnesses know the Bible and
Yeah.
really love God.
Yeah.
And, then I even just got to know neighbors on my street and how devoted they were and how many good, beneficial projects that they were involved in, that truly do benefit people, and how
Yeah.
devoted they are, and how they are really trying to live by, the scriptures. And when I just really got to know them, I thought, well, how arrogant was that of me
Yeah.
to go to their houses and pretend and think, I mean, to imagine, I mean, I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about them,
Yeah.
and to think
Yeah.
that I had to teach, that I had something to teach them, that I didn't know anything about them.
I know.
And
I know.
people, you know how people would say, well, we're Christians here, and you're in your head, you're saying,
Yeah.
yeah, right. You're not really. I mean, we're the Christians.
Uh,
And I'm like, now I know, I'm like, wow, this is just not a Christian religion. This is not Christian. This is not a Christian religion. It's just, I just come to appreciate people and how much how good they can be. Um, yeah, just how
Mary,
good. I mean, they don't
Mary,
even, they don't,
Mary, I have a thought. Because one of the first things, because of being out in service so much, we were always trying to give a good witness. And once we were out and we would meet people, it was such a relief that, oh, I don't have to give a good witness. I don't have to bring the conversation to the kingdom. I mean, did you feel the same way? Did you find that?
Oh, I did. I felt like I could just be genuine. One time I was on a trip after I had woken up, and this girl, I was uh, at this shop. She was being really, really nice to me, and I thought, is she a witness? Is she just going to give me, so is she just going to give me a little contact card or something? But she didn't. But I thought how wonderful it is because I did have so much. I mean, I was so, and they do put it in you, but I believed it every moment when I was out just shopping or anything. I had to be on the alert to
Yep,
somehow give a witness.
I know.
yeah.
And I just think like that is so, now it's just so much nice just to just ask a person a question, get to know people for no other reason
Yeah.
than just to get to know their story.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And I feel like I am so, the reality is I'm a much better person
Mm.
not being a witness.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. I could never go back into that little box and be that anymore. And and I just want to, yeah, I just never want to go back to that kind of thinking.
Yeah. Now that's such a good thing to offer others listening now, and because the people that are listening, the people out there they're good people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a saying, good people find good people. And the reason why they find them is because, number one, they're looking for them, and good people are showing themselves. Uh, we can't do that when we're living someone else's life. We can't do that when we're living a prescribed life. We can only live the prescription, but we really can't express the love that we have. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad you do it.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Uh,
the ones that are listening here are doing it as well.
I know.
I had one other thought about what you all the video about love and where it got into talking about, how we feel about the friends we had or family we had back there. And a song came to my mind that really helped me because one of the things I did was make a song list with there was quite a few songs that really just kind of, and like I had one that was called like Empower Me. And just there was another, I forgot the name of the other one, but there's songs that kind of spoke to me. And this made me, there was a song called Somebody That I Used to Know,
Oh yeah, yeah,
that reminded me, that was kind of reminding me of the organization when, it's like, it says, part of the words, it says, but you didn't have to cut me off, make out like it never happened and that we were nothing. And I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger, and that feels so rough.
yeah,
That's part of the words of that song. So it's just like kind of like, you know, you have to move on. I mean, yes, you can love them, but you have to get to the point where you're just somebody that I used to know, unless they come around,
right,
unless they come around and they want you back in their life,
yeah,
then we're welcoming. Just like I have two disfellowship siblings that when I was ready, when I woke up, that I had shunned for decades, they welcomed me back into their life.
wonderful, yeah,
And they did not neither of them have made a deal about how I treated them.
yeah,
They
yeah,
just like, there's like, we just moved on. And so we want to, I mean, to me, they set a really great example. My worldly, disfellowshipped siblings set a good example for me of how we can just leave it alone. And then when they're ready, we can welcome them back.
Yeah.
So, Mary, you mentioned that your mom is still alive. Is she still an active Jehovah's Witness?
Yes, very much so.
And you
Ultra
told
preemie.
yes, you were telling us that she has a Bible study.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. She's very happy, proud to have a Bible study. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we've heard this, that, older ones, if it really makes them happy, why, rock their world,
It's their world.
and try to wake them up, because this is their world,
It's
and
their
this
world.
is what makes them happy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you kind of feel the same way with your mom?
I wouldn't want to wake her up now. No. I mean, like, so I am able to, like, I ask her about her, ask her what they considered, and I talk to her about it. And I don't say I don't say negative things about the organization to her, but I'm interested in what's going on with her, and I just, you know, I'm really curious about, I don't even know how she got this lady to get up to chapter 18 in the book. I don't, I mean, it's like it's a telephone Bible study.
Wow.
And so anyway, I don't know where it's going to go. I'll have to let you know how that goes. But I
Yeah.
was like, really? Really? I mean, I'm just amazed that she's up to chapter 18.
Yeah.
But my mom is 92, and she has never had anybody in her whole life, any Bible student, get baptized. So
Wow.
it is a thrill. I'm sure it's a thrill for her. So no, I would not do anything to take that away from her.
Yeah.
You've got to appreciate the fact that we don't have to be the same as each other.
Mm-mm.
We don't have to think the same. But if we're going to be comfortable with each other and appreciate each other, we better respect each other.
Right.
Respect the fact that we can have our personal view. You can have your personal view. Your mother can have her personal view. The Pimis listening right now, there are Pimis listening right now. They can have their personal view. But just to recognize that we can all live in the same world with these differing views.
Yeah.
We really can. And this is the open-mindedness that I think that it takes to love each other. It really is, because they say we need to love the unlovable. Well, I'm unlovable, so that's what would be needed. Someone needs. I need to be loved, and obviously it's going to be someone outstretching for that. And the same reverse, I would do that with others, even though, I don't see eye to eye with that person at all. But so what? Doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Well, now that if you're out, you can feel that way. When you're in, it's all
Can't feel.
about what you
Yeah.
you have to believe the same.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh
what's
yeah.
come to what I've decided is what people believe is the least important thing to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if someone says something to me, anybody says, that I would say, well, why do you believe? I'm interested in knowing, not just cutting them off. Just saying, well, why do you
Right.
believe that? And
Right.
then I can either take it or leave it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's why I appreciate, things that you share that are from different viewpoints on your channel.
Yeah.
Because what's wrong with being exposed to things and thinking about
Oh my
them?
goodness. Yeah. What's that? Because the reality of the longer a person lives, the longer they realize their minds change. My
Right.
mind changed from when I was young to now, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to change my mind rather than be restricted. And by the same token, we allow others to change their mind. You know, they have every right to. And if I want to change my mind, they have every right to. And I have every right to respect them to change theirs. We can learn something from each other.
I was just wondering if Seth, if you had any thoughts on what Mary was talking about, or questions for her.
Yeah, I was sitting here just thinking in agreement. I see one of the things that you brought up, Mary, is your 92-year-old mom, you would not this moment wake her up. And I'm sitting here, I'm learning from that. I'm learning from you because here I'm sitting here thinking, no, I would wake anybody up. Of course, I'm fresh out. I have a confrontation, and I like to be confrontational at times. So, but I'm also blunt. But I do appreciate that. That is something that can shape a mind. It's beautiful.
Oh, that well, it is when you want to, because you're as a witness, you're taught you have to tell somebody what you know, or you're blood
Yeah.
guilty. And so you have that, but then you start to realize that I had to kind of like, because actually gives you kind of a savior complex. You got to save the world, and if you don't, you're blood guilty. But then I
Right.
remember this one day, because we went through my husband and I, we went through something very traumatic within the congregation. And then but it still took me a long time to realize that, wait a minute, I'm the one that needs to be saved. You know, I'm not, I don't need to save. I don't need to like save Jehovah. Like, they say, like, you don't want to do anything about his name or whatever. It's like, wait a minute, what about me? I'm the little sheep. Who's going to save, who's going to save me? And another thing I really liked was, that, there was one person that was in an interview do you ever see that? The guy that did the Lego movie, I mean, not the Lego movie, but the Lego animations.
Oh, sure. Kevin McFree.
Right. We were talking about him the other day, Joe, but
Yeah.
one time I saw an interview of his talking about him, it was a long time ago. I don't remember who did it with him, but one thing he said that really impressed me was he said, nobody wants to get woken up. Nobody likes to be woken up, but they'd like a nice cup of coffee when they do.
You know,
They like to
it's
be
so,
handed a cup of coffee when they wake up, but don't wake them up.
with the saying that we have, we constantly talk with another dear friend that may be listening right now, and what we say is they've got to smell the coffee.
Yeah, yeah,
The
that's very
bacon.
similar.
In other
Yeah.
words, there has to be something attractive that they are going to want to wake up to.
Hmm.
Attractive. I would not want to be awakened if I'm not ready. But if there's something attractive, I want to wake up. I'm gonna wake
And
up.
I think on that same line, Mary and Joe, there were so many opportunities all of us had to be woken up along the way. We chose at that time to ignore it. We chose to look away. And it
That's
wasn't
true.
until we smelled the coffee. It took
That's
a
true.
moment of us smelling the coffee
Well. Look.
before we.
Here's the reality too. Let's say, okay, you're sleeping. You're comfortable. It's warm. You'll like it. But oh, what is that? What is that? Attractive, coffee,
Right.
toast, whatever. And so you get up. You want to get up. There's an anticipation of something good. Now, let's say, no, I'm not gonna. I don't want. Nah, that's okay. But then let's say you smell something else, like smoke. Like now, the house is burning. Now, now you're going to be shocked awake. Now, this is the other way. Maybe we feel that if a person doesn't wake up in a timely way, that they're going to be in trouble, and that maybe that's I would offer that too. I would say is that there is a healthy aspect to waking up. We don't want to sleep our whole lives away. We don't.
Oh,
We will
yeah,
miss.
and
We
like,
will. We will
yeah,
miss them.
I want of course, and I know Joe and Fran, you're concerned for your children, and that's what my son. I mean, I want him. I'm like, I don't want to see him waste his life.
Mm-hmm.
I want him, I want it to end now, but I'm just trying to keep the channel right now. I do have a channel of communication, a good communication with
Beautiful.
him,
That's beautiful.
and I can listen, and he'll tell me what's going on, and he'll tell me his concerns. And, you know, I can get, like I say, same thing with my mother. I can get my mother to talk to me. But it's taken some time to get there because I have said things to both of them, you know, in the past when it's so raw. But now I've got to the point where I can handle it, I can navigate it a lot better, and I can still listen to things without it being, you know, with something that I can just, I've tried to evaluate and get information and think about it. And what I can say that's positive, I say, I mean, I can offer little things to my mom sometimes and to my son, but no, it's not I'm not going to,
See,
that's where I'm happy where it is right
you
now.
respect. You respect their values. You respect them, and you have a good relationship because of that. That's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Well, see, as witnesses do not respect other people's values. They do not respect them. See,
No, no, and they
no,
say they do. We respect,
no,
no, but no, absolutely not. And
they
I mean,
do
like I said, all the things when Seth said you know about how we had chances. Yes, that's when I look back and I say when I was told I was going in the ministry all my whole life, from when I was like 5, I could go to a door by myself. And people would say, you know, as I went on, there would be all those things. You have your own Bible. Russell was this, or these prophecies, or it's a real estate empire, or do you know how much money these? I mean, all these things were said.
Right. Every bit of it.
And then I finally am like, I'm like, wow, everything these people in the ministry told me were true.
I should have listened to them. I should have. Oh, dear.
And
Linda,
I didn't listen.
Oh, well, Linda, we've got to continue this again later and whatever.
Okay.
Yes.
All
And
right. Well, I
I
enjoyed
truly,
that.
Thank
I
you so
truly
much for
appreciate.
coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, and I'm sure others want to continue the conversation with you sometime too, so we can connect each
Yeah, if
other.
anyone wants to
Yes.
connect with Mary, let us know and we can connect you.
Yeah. You will
Great.
inspire each other.
Yes.
You will inspire each other.
Thank you, Mary. Love
Okay.
you.
Love
I
you.
love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, so Annie,
Yes,
How are you?
I'm okay. I've enjoyed this whole conversation. It's been
Yeah,
very enjoyable,
yeah,
including the videos, both of them.
yeah.
They're great.
Yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Mary actually covered many of the things that I was going to say as well. We're kind of in the same boat. I was 11 when I got baptized, but um, I just went blank. Sorry. But the thing that bothered me is you and I have talked about in the past was that I got to a point after waking up. It's been about 5 years for me too. I woke up, right, started waking up right around COVID time, and it was very convenient. And I was hit with the same thing she spoke about. That was that I suddenly had to face that I was going to get old, and
Yeah.
I had never, and I know I've expressed this before, so I won't belabor the thought, but I had never expected to live forever. But I did not expect to grow old,
Wow.
because I didn't in the organization I didn't feel I was worthy of everlasting life. So I figured that I would die at Armageddon, but at least it would be a quick death. And so my efforts in the ministry were to try to help someone else to get what I just was not going to get, not going to have.
Wow.
And I came to grips with that. I was okay with that. But then suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting old. In fact, I'm going to have as you know, a 72nd birthday next week.
Not 73rd.
One after
Not
another.
73rd.
One after another.
That was a funny story, Annie.
Yes, it was. But anyways, but you know, and I started looking back after I woke up and got over the anger part. And reality was that I had to look at life differently now. And my reality was that I was going to get older. And we don't know how that's going to play out. There's no way of predicting that. You have to just take it as it comes.
Yeah.
And I mean, just recently I had a little bit of a setback health-wise, nothing terribly major, but made me realize that, you know, I am getting older and I have to alter my lifestyle a little bit and stop working so hard, which I've
Yes.
always loved physically hard. I've
Yeah.
always loved to work physically hard. And so
Yes.
now I have to be more careful with that. But
Yeah.
but along the way, I made a list one day of Seth had mentioned, and I appreciated that it wasn't all bad. And I sat and made a list of 10 things that I felt I benefited from having been a Jehovah's Witness because I was a
Oh,
born
very
in.
interesting.
And just a few of those was
Yeah.
that it taught me not to be afraid to be different. I learned how to speak publicly. I could start a conversation with anyone. If you could start a conversation with anyone about religion, you can probably talk to them about just about anything. To go on and knock on a stranger's door, not knowing what's behind it, open a conversation, control it, and end it. It's basically what we were taught to do.
Yeah.
And there's skills, that's some of them, but other skills that we can use, you know, as we go through our lives too. Good skills,
Yeah.
good skills that we've learned. We learned how to do research, for example. Now we're all doing it.
A lot.
And I also realized even before this that, you know, thinking about the fact that I was going to die, um, was that my forefathers were born, they lived their life, and they died.
You will
And
be
I'm no
right.
better than
Right.
them. What makes me think I'm better than them, that I should not die?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does seem to be the cycle of life. Whether we existed before this life,
Yeah.
whether we will exist after, we don't know.
Right.
So
yeah.
my
It's very,
attitude basically is, well, let's see what comes next.
yeah.
If we
Yeah.
have a consciousness afterwards, well, we'll see what comes next.
No, that struck with me. I must admit what you said about your forefathers, and recognizing that you share that with them.
Yeah.
You know, we're not alone. We're simply
Right.
not alone. We share that with them. Yeah.
Religion is a snare and a racket.
Oh my goodness.
Coda randomly just now brought this to us. He's sitting here right beside
Very
of us.
nice.
And so he randomly brought it, so I guess we know where Dakota's mind is.
My hero.
Good job,
Religion
Dakota.
is a snare and a racket. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
I just thought that was so funny.
Thank you, Dakota and Joseph Rutherford.
And he says, nextjbufriends.com.
Oh, gee. Thank you, guys. Annie, can I ask you something? We didn't plan on this, but I have to, for the benefit of others. In what way, I'm not sure. Would you want to share anything about your son, about how he accepted or woke up, or how he went through it?
And before Annie answers that, I just want to say that we had a wonderful meetup in Horseheads with Annie, and we got to meet her son, and he's such a wonderful person. I know Annie always spoke very highly of him, but we met him in person, and we had 14 at that meetup. We had it at the Red Robin, and they let us sit there for a couple hours, so they were very, very accommodating.
It was great.
But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
good.
Annie.
Is there anything you would want to?
My son was never baptized. He was unbaptized publisher for a short time. But he told me after he grew up that he knew by the age of 7 that this religion was not for him.
Yeah.
He tried. He said, Mom, I tried. I read the Bible more than you think I did. I tried to believe because it meant so much to you, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
So when he was about 17, I was trying to get him motivated to go out in service. And he just said to me, I don't want to go anymore because I feel like a hypocrite because I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And I thought, I said to him at the time, well, you know, I would not want to be made to feel like a hypocrite.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make you go anymore.
Yeah.
at that point, I did say that as long as he lived with me, he had to go to the meetings, which lasted for a little while longer, and then that ended too because I wasn't going to drag him out of bed and try to dress him and force him into the car.
Yeah. I think that's such a powerful object lesson for anyone listening who have that similar situation with young ones in their family. They may be very sane and level-minded and developed-minded, where they know themselves, and their conscience is clear. Their conscience is clear about how they feel.
Yep.
And that we need to respect that as parents.
And I used to tell my son, I wanted him at that point, I wanted him to believe what I had believed, but I never tried to force him into a mold. He had to find his own way.
Yep.
And I would say to him, we've got to be true to yourself too, because you're an individual and you've got to find your way.
Yeah.
And so the friends didn't always like that about me because they felt I was too lenient and I was supposed to have the hammer down. I was a single mom, and I would take it just so far.
I've got to share the opposite end of that, Annie, where we heard one of the speakers, a CEO, I don't know what he was. It was at a convention. I believe it was a convention where he said, parents, do anything and everything you have to get them to dedicate their lives, baptize, whatever, even if you have to sit on them, which is quite the opposite of what you're explaining. There was absolutely no respect for the person's conscience in that. There's no respect. And parents, please take heed of that. Our children's consciences.
Just to share a quick thought, my son had been given things by his father, my ex-husband, and other people. And sometimes I didn't like them because being a witness, I thought they were going to bring quote unquote demons, perhaps, into my home. So I wanted them out of my house, but I didn't want to disrespect him. They were his things and they were gifts. Some of them were gifts, other things he had purchased. So he didn't like it. It was we laugh about it now, but he one day while he was at school, I went through his room and I took everything off his shelves and so forth, and I put them in a bag, a good plastic bag, and I put them where they would be safe. So he came home and boy was he mad.
I can imagine.
And he said, you threw my things out, and I said, no, I did not throw your things out. Yes, you did. And I said, no, I did not. And I said, when you leave my home, I will give them back to you because they are your things. And maybe one day you will decide that you need to get rid of them. But they are your things, and I did respect that, and I did not throw them out. Well, the funny side is, he went all over the backyard digging it up. We had the sand. Where we lived, it was a very sandy soil. And he thought I buried them in the backyard.
Oh, jeez.
And he dug and he dug and he dug holes. I mean, he filled them in. It didn't take too much to fill them back in. But the whole time they were sitting in a 55-gallon drum where I had some stuff sitting on top of them. And he never thought to look at the 55-gallon drum. So when the day came where he left, I gave them to him. And he couldn't believe that I had actually saved them for him. I said, yes, I told you I did. They're your things.
That's beautiful.
And I'm so glad I did that, because if I had literally thrown them out, I would have probably severed our relationship.
Yeah, it would have been, it's so true.
Yeah.
So
but
true.
I did respect him and his things. So.
Can we get some other people in, Annie? Sure. We appreciate your expressions here.
If Shauna puts the link up for StreamYard, if anyone wants to come on. If not, we're enjoying this. And I think Shauna said, wow, We have a half hour left. It's great, really zips along. If anyone is just tuning in, we're going to be on for
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
Our total program is going to be 2 hours. And hi, Dallas.
Hello, Dallas.
Well, hi there.
Hey, Dallas.
Well, thank you for sharing that story, Annie. I just love your story about how you gave your son more of a choice,
Mm-hmm.
and because I was about to fix the top end, but I can tell you, you didn't drag him to go door knocking, did you? Didn't.
No, once he said he felt like a hypocrite, I could not do that anymore.
And one thing that some parents would say that you didn't say, they would have said, "I don't care."
Yeah.
That's
True.
exactly what they would have said.
So true. That's
But
so
I put
true.
myself in his position, and I would not want to be made to feel like a hypocrite either. So I couldn't
And
do it to him.
you would never say those words I just said.
Right. And you see, that's actually love, because one thing of love is you put yourself in the other person's position, and how would you want to be treated?
And
So right.
right on, and because saying "I don't care" is selfish when you impose it and force it upon them.
Right.
That's so
And
true.
especially to disciple them all while they're young and still malleable
Right. Yep. Good
to
point.
into a copy of yourself.
Yeah.
Marissa's
Yeah.
on. Dallas, can we welcome Marissa?
Absolutely welcome.
Thank you, Dallas.
Thank you, Dallas. Hi,
Hi,
Marissa.
everybody. Hi. I've really enjoyed Annie and Mary listening. That's been lovely. Been lovely. I did want to share something when we were discussing earlier. That video you guys had was superb. If we could get a link to that on the psychology, the neuroscience behind love.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was awesome. And how you applied it to, I was thinking about relationships, marital relationships or, boyfriend, girlfriend situations, but it does apply, in our experience with the organization. But I did want to say, one of the things that is an emotion that people have when they wake up, at least I experienced this, was that regret. For so long, I felt dumb, that I was due, all these complex emotions. And recently I've been listening to that Harvard psychologist, and she said something.
Oops. Oops, we lost you, Marissa.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she said that, there's no way for us to know if we hadn't made a decision, that it's an irrational emotion because we made the decision to regret anything is silly, because we did what made sense to us when we made that decision.
So true.
So, it sort of offers a compassionate way of healing for us with anything, not just with the organization. But if we lose our temper, well, we work on it, of course, but then we're compassionate with ourselves and saying, well, that person almost killed me, cut me off. There's a reason I, got upset. I don't know. I just think waking up isn't for sissies. And I loved what Mary said about the 3 H's. I really loved that. I loved her interview. And Annie, I loved your interview too. I've just enjoyed tonight so much. And I did want to ask Annie a question, if I might. May I?
Oh, please.
Sure. Go ahead.
Annie, why did you feel? I have one other friend that's a sister in the organization who would tell me this, and I never understood this. Why did you think you weren't going to make it? That's fascinating to me that you kept going door to door, but you didn't think you were going to make it in paradise.
I think it went back to my childhood. I grew up in it was a dysfunctional family. And because I felt my needs were very neglected. And I'm sure everyone in the family felt the same way. My father was very domineering and everything revolved around him. And because I grew up feeling like my feelings, my needs didn't matter. And I would literally tell myself that so that I could deal with it. You just don't matter. You don't count. Your feelings, your needs don't matter. So I think that's what started the whole thing. And then, of course, because I always thought outside the box, and so I didn't fit in many respects. In some ways, I did, but in other ways, I did not. Especially as I got older, I started thinking, more critical thinking for myself. I think that was part of it. Now, there were times when I would go through, well, maybe, especially once I had a child, I thought, then I really did want to live forever with him. But it was still always a struggle for me to feel that I deserved it. I just felt I wasn't worthy enough. I literally had a picture as a child of Jehovah sitting on his throne, and when he looked down and my name came up, that he would shake his head and say, "No, it's just not good enough." Literally, that was my image as a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Oh, that just broke my heart when I heard you say that. And I couldn't help but wonder if, a lot of the cult language and the propaganda that they use to make us feel less than didn't play a part in that,
Well,
also.
yes, you're a good for nothing slave. Anything you do is what you should do, and you always should be doing more. No matter how hard you're trying, you should do more. And I know that the brothers couldn't figure out and didn't like the fact that I never signed up to regular Pioneer. I auxiliary vacation when it used to be called vacation. And it was always, well, why don't you do this and stick it overseas to try to talk me into it? And I came close to signing on the dotted line, but I just knew I couldn't live that life. And so I didn't.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for explaining. I just, it hurts my heart because I know a lot of the language that was used in the organization really made many of us feel. And that doctor I mentioned to you all, Linger, she talks about the profound power of language and science and neuroscience and how, like the word remission when somebody has cancer. You have 5 years, and if you're in remission for 5 years, then you're okay. But that word remission, what it does to the nervous system is it creates a stress response. So even though you're cured and they find no cancer in your body, they use remission and they insert fear. And now you're for 5 years like stressed out that it's going to come back. And she likens it to like a cold. She's like, when you have a cold and that virus is no longer in your system, you don't say, oh, I'm in remission, because you're going to get another cold at some point. It's just inevitable. But you don't walk around thinking, oh my God, I'm in remission and I'm going to have a cold. So the power of language and what we tell ourselves has a profound effect on our health and our well-being.
I think you shouldn't say that.
yeah,
What's that?
I agree with that.
I appreciate you mentioning that, Marissa. That's very good. Yeah,
Of course.
yeah, our language is powerful. The language that we speak to ourselves. It's important what we say to others. It's important what we say to ourselves.
Right.
And listening to each other. Don't hesitate to, let each other know what you hear from each other. That's an act. That's an act of love.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
And just so you know, I no longer feel that way about myself.
I'm glad.
I do know I have value. I have
I'm
spent
glad.
my life in service of other people in different ways, and not for any reward, just because that's what we should do with our life.
yeah, your relationship with your son, the way first of all, you're a beautiful storyteller. I loved listening to the way you explain things. And what a loving act. The way you spoke to your son, it it tells me, well, there's a reason you woke up, right? You're honest, humble, and hungry, and I'm glad you feel differently than you did growing up.
And actually, my son had a pretty good part in waking me up. He used to say, "Mom, I was so afraid that organization was going to take you away from me forever." And so he was afraid to say too much, but he must have started to say it. He must have noticed something about me that I was starting to wake up, I think, before I knew it. So he was sharing things with me, and I was very resistant. I was very resistant at first. But little by little, I just realized I couldn't fight it because he did set me on a road of self-discovery, but also of doing research. And I started with J.W. Ward and our own literature. And I went to the library and I looked up books in the library and definitions of words and things of that nature. And so he did have a big part in it, though obviously I was ready or I would have continued to resist. But so yeah, we both say we saved our lives.
You did.
We've
You
saved
did.
each other. We
You
saved each
saved
other.
it. You really
That's
did.
right.
You truly did. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Annie, for
Annie
coming on, and
Marissa
of Dallas, and of course Mary
Linda.
Flowers, and also Seth, Felicia, Dakota. Is Dakota still awake, or did he go to bed?
He's still awake. He's sitting right over here. Coda, look.
Don't wake him up.
If anyone has any final thoughts, we've got some good news. Most people probably heard that Jehovah's Witnesses lost in Sweden. Goat-like personality reported on it earlier. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of videos out there. So, yeah, we're glad to hear that. Wild Wall said, just out of curiosity, is this a one-time thing, or are the shows going to be streamlined to 2 hours from now on?
Probably 2 hours from now on. Yeah, good question. Yeah.
And if anyone wants to come on the program,
yeah,
let us know and we can work out a schedule.
yeah.
We'd love to have you on. And it's nice to get to know the friends on a little deeper level. I know originally we started with 4 hours.
Yeah.
Then it went down to 3 hours. But, it gets to be long.
And what I'm going to offer here is that you all have the opportunity of connecting with anyone you want. And if you don't know how to, just let us know. Call us, and we'll connect you. So this doesn't end anything
No.
for you.
No.
If you want to keep things going, you can just do it in a personal way.
Yeah. Annie, you're willing to take calls?
Yep, I am.
Okay. And of course, Marissa, I know you take care of your parents, so you're not always available.
Yeah.
But, let us know. And Seth and Felicia, you're working and a mom, and so we know you guys are busy. But if you ever want to connect, just let us know.
Anyone
Oh
out
yeah,
there?
I can take calls. I'm happy to take calls also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marissa.
And of course, anyone listening on the chat, let us know.
Mary Flowers said me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary, I'll share this much. She's in Virginia, so if anybody is in that area,
Our phone number isn't that?
Yep, our phone number. I'm going to put it in the chat. Is 315-221-0130.
And it's not uncommon that we do a three-way call too for anyone, so as to introduce and to start off the relationship with them. That works nice.
Born JW, you can check out, but you can never leave Hotel Watchtower.
Hotel.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a real pleasure.
I was just going to say it's true that there will be residue on us probably for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I mean,
It's residue.
in all fairness, we go through that with anything that we grow up.
Yeah.
It's just it, but you know, the point is once we face it, whatever it is that stumbled, traumatized, hurt us, it's the beginning of getting over it and getting beyond it. It may take time. It may take help. It may take persistence. But facing it and approaching it, getting the information, that's the way we go forward.
Yep, Sparky Slag says, Joe and Fran, I enjoyed the show this evening. Thank you, Sparky.
Thanks, Sparky.
And Born JW said he's going to call us. We look forward to that. And Jane Spitfire, Joe is right. All got baggage living life.
Everybody. It's life.
Yep.
It's life. Face it.
With or without Watchtower, we got baggage.
That's right. That's right. But we have each other to share it with.
Right.
There's a lot of people out there who love you, and there's a lot of people out there for you and us to love.
Mm-hmm.
It's our job.
Yeah, we can all muddle through this together, right? I just wanted to quickly take a moment here to thank Joe and Fran for being with us again and hosting this meeting. Thank you to Seth and Felicia for pitching in and helping with the show. Thank you to everybody in the chat and on the stage, because we wouldn't have a show without any of you. Please, guys, make sure to check out our Discord. We have some fun events coming up for the spooky season this Friday. So, you know what? Let your hair down. Let's have just a little bit of fun. Doesn't hurt anything. So that's all I have to say. Joe, any last words?
Well, you still likes and likes for the channel?
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Yeah.
Okay, everybody do give a like, thumbs up.
Thumbs up,
and
Dakota.
Don't forget.
Thumbs up.
And don't forget to everyone to keep living our lives with
love. Thank you all. We love you.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.